The Enlightenment and Interpretation. The Enlightenment and Interpretation is an influential two-volume history of the Age of Enlightenment by Peter Gay, published between 1966 and 1969. The first volume, subtitled The Rise of Modern Paganism, won the National Book Award in 1967. The second volume, subtitled The Science of Freedom, was published in 1969. Summary. The first volume, The Rise of Modern Paganism, focuses on foundations of Enlightenment thought, covering the influence of Greek philosophers, pagan belief, and Christian theology. The second volume, The Science of Freedom, describes how this system was then applied to various spheres, particularly the social sciences, including political economy, history, and sociology. Gay presents the Enlightenment as the unified work of a small group of men, the little flock, who share a critical method and knew and admired one another's work. These thinkers are dominated by French figures, including Montesquieu, Voltaire, Denis Diderot, Jean-Laurent de Lambert, and Robert-Jacques Turgot, and the Marquis de Condorcet. Gay also refers to Britain's John Locke and David Hume, the Genevan Jean-Jacques Rousseau, the German-born Immanuel Kant, and the American Benjamin Franklin. Gay emphasizes the empirical attitudes of these thinkers and praises their liberal attitudes while glossing over aspects of their belief that undermine his argument, including anti-Semitism and a willingness to suppress religious freedoms. Reception. The Enlightenment and Interpretation has been praised for its breadth of scholarship and readable style, and is seen as rehabilitating the reputation of Enlightenment thinkers, particularly Scottish philosopher David Hume. Margaret Jacob, a professor of history at UCLA, described it as canonical and the last great work to provide a synthetic account of the philosophers and their world. In the early part of the 20th century, historians like Carl Becker had criticized the work of the philosophers as perpetuating the dogmatic attitude of the Middle Ages. These thinkers, wrote Becker in The Heavenly City of the 18th century philosophers, only replaced the sureties of Christian faith with their own hyper-rationalist utopia. Writing in the New York Times, George L. Moss describes the Enlightenment and Interpretation as a watershed in 18th century historiography, which sought to undo these charges. By meeting Enlightenment thinkers on their own ground, says Moss, Gay presents them as a group of intellectuals who believed that man's unfettered use of his critical mind would lead all mankind into a better future. The historian Nicholas Hudson of the University of British Columbia describes the work as a barely disguised defense of an optimistic secular liberalism opposed both to pessimism about Western civilization and rising conservatism. References